It's me, Cheryl. Hi. Hi. Coming to you from my office this time here in northern Spain. For those of you who don't know me, I am an American who has lived in Europe for more than 9 years now. I currently live in northern Spain, but I spent the first 7.5 years in Bavaria, living and working and loving in Bavaria. I am originally from Wisconsin. I'm an American, a US citizen, born and raised in Wisconsin. My whole family's there. I wanted to share my story and my experience and my thoughts. Not so much my thoughts, but just to get it out there, my story about healthcare and my healthcare experience in Germany, and a little bit about my experience here in Spain. So let me get started. I graduated from high school in 1999. Oh my God. And I went to work right away. I was working full time. So I went from my mom's health insurance to my own health insurance through my employer. And I worked full time for 2 years, maybe 3 years before I went back to college. And I went back on my mom's health insurance. And then I started working full time again in Hawaii. And I had my employer health insurance from the company I worked at out there. And then I moved back to Wisconsin to finish my degree. And I was a non-traditional student in a university in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. And I had to go on like my own insurance through the school, basically, because I couldn't go back onto my mom's. So I graduated from college in 2011, and I accepted a job offer to teach in southern Germany, in Bavaria. And the contract was just for 1 year. I was on a 1-year teaching contract. And in 2011, I moved from Wisconsin to Bavaria to teach in a Realschule, which is, I can talk about the school system and how it's divided in Germany and how that all works in another video if you all want. So anyways, I was teaching for the first year. And because it was only a 1-year contract, they told me that I needed to bring my own health insurance because they weren't going to provide it because of the type of job it was and the contract it was just short term. So through my university, I found like a short term traveler's insurance. I think I paid $100 for a year, and it just was like basic coverage and possibly like portion of coverage if it was emergency related. So I moved to Germany in 2011, like I said, and the first time I got sick was the first day I got there. I arrived and I was in the airport and I was extremely sick as soon as I got there. I don't know what happened to me, but I had to go to the pharmacy, which are called apotheks, which I learned on the first day I got there because I had to learn what the pharmacy was all about. I also learned that they give you tempos every single time that you go there. I thought it was so nice. They give you tempos, which are Kleenex. And they gave me some pretty cool, really good tasting aspirin, and that dissolves in water, and it worked like a charm. And the next day I was fine, and the next day I was at Oktoberfest, and I did not go to Germany with very much money at all, so I was quickly running short of money after being there for the first few days and being at Oktoberfest. And I started my job. I was a teacher. So I went from the US to Germany. I didn't speak very much German. I didn't know the culture very well. My family heritage is German. My last name is von ... But I didn't study German, the language or the culture. ever before, besides like knowing about my family heritage beforehand from some of my family who lived in Wisconsin and who spoke English. So anyways, I got there and learned what the pharmacy did and learned about Oktoberfest. And then I was taken to my home in a small town in Bavaria along the Danube. And I was teaching at this school that was really wonderful, a wonderful, wonderful school. And it was within the first month that I started playing volleyball every Thursday with some other teachers. And I went on a hike for the first time in the Alps within the first month with some of the teachers from the school. And the next time I got sick was just a month later, and my stomach hurt. And by that time, I already made friends, and some friends, and I've been trying to feel my way around. And yeah, my stomach hurt, and I was at home, and my friend tells me, "Okay, then go to the doctor." And I said, "No. How much is that gonna cost?" And he was like, "What do you mean? That's your first thought, is how much is it gonna cost?" And I was like, "Yeah, why? Like, I have to pay for my, I have to pay for like my healthcare." And he was like, "That should not be your first thought." Like, and I said, "I'm gonna wait and see what this is, because I know that with this insurance, like, I would have to pay out of pocket, and then I would have to be reimbursed later." And I just didn't want to pay, and I was so used to paying something, associating money with going to the doctor. So that was definitely my first thought. And we went back and forth, and he was just like, "You're going. The longer that you wait, the worse it can get. You don't know what it is, could get infected, blah, blah, blah. Like, time is not, don't wait. This is, your health is more important." And he was just, "Your health is more important than money? I can't believe you're thinking about money first." And I was like, "I can't believe you're thinking about something else first. And thanks for caring. And I'm just going to wait." And then he ended up talking more sense into me, and he called the doctor and asked how much it would be, blah, 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 for me. And we went. They said it's not going to cost you much. And okay, fine. Well, we went. So this was my first experience of going to an actual doctor in Bavaria. I made the appointment, and within a couple hours after I made the appointment, I was already there. You walk in, the offices are beautiful. You walk in, you check in at like a reception desk, and then I waited in a hallway for the specific doctor. I just waited in the hallway right in front of his door. And what's really, really common, which I noticed right away that first day, and then I noticed it over and over and over again, is a really common thing, is that you just go straight into the doctor's office, the actual doctor's office. There are waiting rooms, and sometimes there are different kinds of waiting rooms and stuff where you are with other patients waiting to see the doctor, but they don't take you into a room where a nurse comes to assess you, and then the doctor comes in the room and spends like a minute with you, gives you your diagnosis, and then the nurse comes back or something like this. You wait, and then the doctor just opens the door to his office and calls you in, and you go straight into his office or her office. And there was no nurse the first time I ever went, and the majority of times that I had ever gone to the doctor. As far as like, this would be like a clinical kind of setting. It's very different in the US. You have these big clinics. Here, you have a building like the size of maybe a 3-story apartment building or something, and the ground floor would be some kind of business, and the upstairs would be, an apartment that a couple doctors have their offices in, and then another one of the rooms in that apartment is like the waiting room / reception area. So that's typical there, is they're small. I will have to think about that. From anything that I can remember, I never went into like a huge like clinic. So you would go, like into one of these kinds of like rooms. It's like a refurbished apartment, like 4, 5, 6 bedrooms maybe, and like each bedroom is a different use for the doctor's office. So anyways, that's very typical. Anyways, so we were waiting in the hallway, and the doctor just opens the door and says, "Come on in." And you come in, and it's his office, like his desk, his big, beautiful, like wooden desk, his big bookshelves, and all of the books that he ever used for studying or whatever that he uses for reference, and his computer, and he has a bed in there right next along the wall, and he's got some other monitors and computers and stuff in there. And then right next to the bed is an ultrasound machine, and that is standard. So I had stomach pain. We sat down at his desk, talked to him for, I don't know, a couple minutes. He was really like, "What are you doing here as an American?" And then laid me down on the bed, took my vitals, and instantly gave me an ultrasound on my stomach. I was like, "What? What are you doing?" Like, wow. I had ultrasounds in the US, but you have to like make an appointment at a different department and then go there and then have an ultrasound tech do the ultrasound, and then you have to wait for the results, make an appointment sometimes to get the results read back to you from the doctor. No, that was just the same doctor that just talked to me, just laid me down, took my vitals, and then just, put some jelly on my stomach and used the wand and looked on the screen and was telling me as he was looking on the screen that I have diverticulitis. So that was the first time that anyone ever told me that I had diverticulitis, but he told me instantly. He knew right away. It was super efficient. I was wondering, why doesn't everyone do this? So you just know right away, like, what's wrong with you without waiting, without more time going by and maybe it getting worse. With that, why do we have to like shuffle charts and pictures? And I don't know, it just seems really, it was so common sense, like, oh my god, why doesn't everyone do this? And I thought, wow, this is amazing. So he tells me that I have diverticulitis. So with that diagnosis, he sits me back down at his desk, and he tells me, "Okay, you need to, do you smoke?" And I was like, sometimes. "Stop smoking, that really hurts it. Do you drink?" And I was like, well, yeah. I come from working in restaurants and stuff. I'm from Wisconsin. It's not like I don't, but he says, "You need to stop drinking so much." And I learned a lot about their drinking culture, which is a little different in Bavaria than it is in Wisconsin as well, and it is in the US. That's another video. Anyways, okay, stop smoking, stop drinking alcohol as much. Like, you need to retrain yourself how to do everything, basically. Retrain yourself how to drink, how to sleep, how to eat, how to exercise, and how to go outside and get fresh air and get sunshine. Even if you don't feel good every single day, you should be getting fresh air and if there's sunshine, like at least 10 minutes spend outside every day, at least. And exercise and sports were right up there on his list of prescriptions for me. He gave me some, I don't know, just told me to get ibuprofen or something, give my stomach a rest, blah, blah, blah. I walked out. They helped me with the weird insurance that I brought from the US. I ended up paying no more than 80 euros, which was, I don't know, at the time close to 80 euros or $80 in the US, and getting reimbursed like a month later. Anyways, what else happened to me? So that was that. I think that was the only time that I needed to go to the doctor while I was on this strange insurance from the traveler's insurance from the US. My 1-year job contract ended up being extended for another half a year, but I moved to Munich before that, so I was commuting from Munich to Regensburg not every day, but I was commuting 2-3 times a week for another half a year. And at the time, I was on my partner's health insurance because I could go on his health insurance. I'm not sure why, possibly because I got married. Anyways, so I was on his health insurance for about 6 months to a year. And in the meantime, while I was on his health insurance, I had something wrong with my ear one night, and it was a Sunday in the wintertime in the middle of a blizzard. And that was the next time. Yeah, that was the next time I needed to go to the doctor. And I was in Munich, and I didn't need to go to the doctor. I didn't think I needed to go immediately because it was a Sunday night and it was in the middle of a blizzard. I thought, okay, there's no doctor open right now, so I'll wait until Monday. Well, no. My German partner said, no, you're going to the doctor now. We're going to the emergency room. And I said, no. Like, how much is that going to cost? I am not going to the emergency room for something. I had pain in my ear because I was using a Q-tip and I thought I stabbed myself or something. And the pain was getting worse, but it wasn't that bad, I had to go to the emergency room. I was like, no. I think, how much is that going to cost? No. Why are you thinking about money again? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, no, we're going. If you wait, it could get infected. And again, we go back and forth on this. Like, we don't understand how we're understanding this, how we're looking at this. We don't understand each other. And he's like, since nothing's open, we have to go to the emergency room, and that's not a problem because that's what you do. You use your healthcare. Like, you have it, and so you use it no matter what. And if you wait, it could get infected. Okay, so on a Sunday night, we go to the emergency room, and we get there, and there really wasn't anybody there. There was a receptionist at the hospital, and we just walked in, and they took some information, and they took his insurance card, and this was a normal insurance from there. And they set us down. They said they're going to call in an ENT specialist, and we waited for... She got called in from home. We waited for about 20 minutes while she came in, and she took me into her examination room at the hospital and checked me out, told me, like, it's okay, you're fine, and nothing's in there, and you didn't damage anything. So I was pretty embarrassed, though, but that was it. It was done, and I knew that it was okay. And what else? That was my first time and my only time in the emergency room in Germany. Whew, thank God. So what else? That that started to like, these times of going to the doctor really started to like, I started asking a lot more questions about healthcare and started to get really interested in what is the difference here, what's going on with these people here. um, I noticed like that they just don't think about money. um, we had some friends who were doctors and talked to them about their experience, and it was like, oh, you're not going to school here because of the money, you're going to school to be a doctor here because you want to be a doctor and you want to help people. um, they didn't like have the same kind of salaries as doctors in the US, but still like very top quality professionals, top quality care, top quality machinery, diagnosis. Education system is fantastic there. People are traveling to Germany for health care. People travel there specifically for health care for different things. So there was no question that the care that I was getting was of very, very high quality. The facilities were always like extremely high quality, actually really cool designed, with a lot of greenery, green spaces around, a lot of peaceful nooks and crannies in the offices and in the hospitals, and very nicely designed. Anyways, so after I had gone to the emergency room that was on my partner's insurance, I never saw any bill for that. We walked in, gave them the card, they scanned it, then we got our services and we walked out, and there was never any discussion, never any bill, nothing about money. So that was it. And I was fine. And the next time I had to go to the doctor was because my back went out one time. This was only a few months later. I was doing a lot of cleaning and my back went out and I could barely stand up, and I had back pain, lower back pain or mid back pain, or just all kinds of back pain. And so I went to the doctor, and that time I wasn't thinking about money because I could barely stand up. And I went to the doctor, a regular general practitioner that was close to the house, so that was the first time I had ever like seen one in Munich, and did not have to pay for that. And they just like, same thing, walked into the doctor's office, the doctor saw me, explained at their desk what was wrong. She put me on the bed that was right next to her desk. She took my vitals. Couldn't really do much because it was like a muscular kind of thing, or she didn't really want to get into it. She just wrote me a prescription for 6 weeks of physical therapy and sent me to a physical therapist. And I did not see a bill for that doctor ever. So I called for an appointment to go in for a physical therapy. I just give them my prescription, and they just they just copy your card or scan your card in their little machine, and that was it. And I had 6 weeks with her, and she took one look at me and told me that I needed better posture. I needed to work on my muscles. She said my back was bad, my posture was bad, and as I'm sitting up more straight now, she really had to do a lot of work on my back. And she suggested that I talk to the doctor about getting like a breast reduction because my back was just so bad. But besides that, I never went through with that, and we worked a lot on my muscles, and she had to do a lot of massage work, and she had to do then eventually like muscle training and stuff. She helped me with that. So I needed more physical therapy than just 6 weeks, so I went back to the doctor. They wrote me another prescription, no problem, for 6 more weeks. After the 6 weeks again, I would go to the physical therapist like once a week, sometimes twice a week, if I had something like really bad. Or if she was like working stuff out on my muscles and my back, she would want to see me twice a week. And during that time that I was with her doing physical therapy, during the end, I found myself a job working full time, and I went from my partner's insurance to my own insurance. And so I started working for a company, and there was one day with my physical therapist that I was like telling her that I got a new job, and she's like, "Oh, cool. Where is it?" And I'm like, "It's close to here. What are you going to be doing?" And I told her, and I just wanted to get her take because we'd been talking a lot about different things, and I told her what the job was, and she asked me how much it paid, and which was like, it's a very direct question that a lot of people in Bavaria, they'll ask you without even thinking. And I told her how much it was, and she's like, "Well, that's more than I get paid." And she was the manager of a physical therapist practice. And my new job was more than what she gets paid. But anyways, I have my paychecks here. So I started working full time, and I worked for this company from 2012 to 2018. And this was the first time that I had my own health insurance in Germany. I had Technische Krankenkasse. This is one of my my paycheck slips. And this one is specifically for June of 2016. And I got paid monthly, just once a month. And my health insurance contribution, they called it, my KV Beitrag, which is health insurance contribution, was just over 8% of my total gross income. So I paid, this one I kind of yellowed out some important information. So this is a different paycheck stub. This one's from 2017. And here is my gross monthly income. And I'm going to fold this piece of paper. My KV Betrag is where is it? KV Betrag is health insurance contribution. Beitrag. KV Beitrag. Right here. 247 euros. So once a month, my employer took out 247 euros from my paycheck, and that is what I paid for my health insurance. And besides seeing that on my paycheck every month, I didn't see anything else about money ever when I went to the doctors in Germany. The only time that I saw anything having to do with money and doctors or healthcare in Germany, well, this kind of doctor in Germany was a dentist. Or pharmacy. So let me talk about that later. But I will tell you quick after I show you that my contribution to healthcare was only 247 euros a month. Let me see. Where do I start? I used it to its full advantage. I used my healthcare um, because I started like learning about like health more, started learning the German ways, and started really taking advantage of all this healthcare that is great quality. That I mean, I was just like, awesome, I'm gonna go get an allergy test. Awesome, I do this like blood test. In the beginning, I just wanted to get tested for things and just to make sure I was healthy. Anyways, I was very healthy besides the diverticulitis, or so I thought. I was starting to exercise more. Living in Europe, I'm starting to walk a lot more, change in food, change in culture, change in values, and going from the US, eating like a lot of processed food and a lot of GMO food, coming to Europe, eating lots of natural food, eating lots of food without GMOs, lots of bio, lots of food. It's got different like yeasts in it. It's got different yeasts in the bread and in the beer, and it just it's different food with different minerals in the food, different minerals in the water, different kinds of water. Yeah, it's some of the healthiest water in all of Europe comes from Munich. Anyways, I was starting to learn a lot about healthcare and a lot about health. So I got my own health insurance. And maybe like a month later, I started noticing that my hair was like falling out, and my partner was like, go to the doctor and get tested and see what's wrong. Could be like iron, could be that you just need vitamins. You might be low on something, and that's a warning sign. And I was like, okay. So I found a doctor and started seeing her, and she wasn't very close to where we lived. But I really liked her, and she helped me more because she spoke English and I barely spoke German. So I went to see her, and she did an ultrasound on my throat after she took blood. Okay, order of events. I go there, I wait in a waiting room, I get called. I don't wait very much. People in the US think that you wait like ridiculous amount of time. You don't. Like, it's the same normal waiting time. There was maybe once in my life, in my experience in Germany, that I waited for an hour because somebody else came in urgently and needed to take the time of the doctor, and that was fine. But yeah, you get called out of the waiting room, you go straight into the doctor's office. She's sitting there at her desk, you sit in front of her, she puts you on a table right next to her desk. She takes her stats. At this point, it was like hair loss was just, I didn't have anything really going on besides that I was like losing my hair. And she did a blood test in the room next to her. She just sent me over there, and I didn't even wait. Actually, there was just somebody who could take my blood right away, and they took my blood, and I came back, I think like a couple days later or a week later or something. I came back. She took an ultrasound of my throat in her office, and then she read back the results of the ultrasound and of my blood work and stuff in her office, and told me that I have hypothyroidism, and told me don't worry about it. It's very common here, especially in women. She said like 1 out of 4 women here have this, and it's because there's, we're in the middle of the mountains, we're super far from the sea. There's not much mineral like iodine in the soil here, and you're not eating food that's like full of iodine, so a lot of people get like thyroid conditions. She's like, no problem, don't worry, just take this hormone every day. I was like, are you sure? She's like, no, you'll be fine. You just take this pill every day. No big deal. Don't worry about it. You're fine. And you live a fine life. And I was like, okay. And I just trusted her. And I did. I started taking my L-thyroxine, and I was pretty much okay. Like years later, I kind of could feel certain things happening with the balance. You have to go back every 6 months to get your blood tested to make sure that your levels are kind of equal and equilibrium with the medicine that you're taking, like the hormone supplement that you're taking. So that was that's something that I have to do every 6 months. Just get my blood tested and make sure that my medicine is working. And my medicine, I went to the pharmacist, and I've never paid more than €5 for a box with 4 months worth of hormones in it. And like I said, the only times that I have to pay for anything was at the pharmacy and the dentist. And the pharmacy, I never paid more than €5. I never paid, yeah. For something that was a prescription, I never paid more than €5. They always sell things at the pharmacy, so of course, like other things you have to pay for. But my insurance covered my prescriptions as well, including my thyroid prescription. So what else? Throughout the years, you have to establish as a female an OBGYN, and you have to go regularly, at least once a year, and then you go for other things that pop up. And so I had my OBGYN, and I saw the same one then after I found a good one, and I saw her for all of the time that I was there, and never paid for anything from her. I had 2 surgeries, one in-house in her office there. When you go, same thing, when you go into the OB, it's like an apartment, and there were 2 doctors working in their office there. Each one had their own office. They had another room that was, for the bathrooms. They had another room that was for a break room or something. They had another room that was for this in-house surgery that they could do, like I forget what it was called. Anyways, I had one in-house surgery there at her office, and never paid for that. That was in 2017-ish. And it didn't work, so I had to go for another surgery like a month later, and I had to go to the hospital so that they could put me under anesthesia. And I stayed overnight in the hospital and had that surgery. That was successful, and I never paid for any of that. They fed me. The hospital stay was so nice. Very easy, clean, normal, very high quality everything. My OB's office, when you go to the OB, you walk into her office. After you wait, you walk in, and it's her office. You sit at her desk, you talk to her, and then you just sometimes she has, this particular one had just like a room divider, and you change basically in front of her, because who cares, she's gonna see pretty much everything anyways. And she's just there while you're like changing, and you sit down on the chair right next to her, and she has all of her equipment there, and she does the ultrasound there, and she does all of her tests there. She's got one little table with all the test stuff there. And then you sit back down, you get dressed again, you sit back down at her table, she reads to you what's wrong, and that's it. My surgery in the hospital was, like I said, easy, quick, never anything that I had to pay for. What else? I had more physical therapy on my back, more on my neck, and more on my shoulder. I started to get very sporty, and I started to just go and use the physical therapy that I would get. So I had some training on my neck for my muscles. I had more back pain, so I had more physical therapy for that. I had a sports injury on my shoulder, so I went to an orthopedic doctor for my shoulder, and he referred me to a shoulder specialist at the hospital. I went there. They were going to give me shoulder surgery, but thank God this shoulder specialist told me I didn't need it. I did more physical therapy on my shoulder, and I'm fine. What else? Every year I had to go to the eye doctor because I need contacts and glasses. And I just got an annual eye checkup. And of course you have to pay for your glasses. Of course you have to pay for your contacts, but they were really cheap there. They were so cheap in Germany. And really good ones too. And my eye doctor was a lovely man. And my doctors were all like lovely, lovely people. I would go to the doctor, like a general practitioner doctor close to my house for urgent care stuff, or for anything that was happening with me, if I had stomach problems or if I had like flu kind of symptoms and stuff. I would go to the doctor close to my house, and same thing. You wait, and then you go straight into the doctor's room, and then they just give you an ultrasound right then and there, and they're reading the ultrasound to you and telling you it's just inflammation in your stomach. You must have a stomach bug. Stay home for a week. Whew, okay. Rest. Take care of your stomach, basically. Like, they would tell you things to eat and things not to eat. Go walking outside for 10 minutes every day. Get fresh air and move your body a little bit every day. Other things that happened to me, I was diagnosed with diverticulitis, and that was just, I went in for stomach pains, and they gave me an ultrasound and found that I had inflammation in my intestines, and they could see that it was diverticulitis. I'm like, are you sure it's not gastritis? And they said, yeah, I can see it clearly. It's diverticulitis. Like, right then and there. I didn't have to wait, like I said, for a diagnosis. What else? I think I've covered a lot. So, I had acupuncture for some of my back pain. I went to the doctor, and the same doctor, the general practitioner, he was a certified acupuncturist as well. So right in his office, I had 12 weeks, once or twice a week. I had acupuncture from this doctor, and that was covered by my health insurance. What else? Okay, so this is basically all of it. And before I talk about my dentist, I also went to a therapist in Germany. I went to her once or twice a week for an hour each time, and I did it because I could, because it was free, and because I think that it was just amazing that I could have her. She helped me a lot, and mental health is important. Health is important. It's a higher value to a lot of people there, including companies, including it's just part of the culture there is healthcare, and a human's health. How do I explain that? You're not a productive employee if you're sick. And if you're not healthy, you're not a productive employee. So your employers want you to be healthy. And so if you come to work and you are sick, you're might infecting other people at work. And so they're very, very, how do you say, proactive. They would rather you take time and heal and do what the doctor says than come to work and not heal yourself and be less productive because you don't take time to heal yourself. If the doctor tells you you need a week off to rest and recover, then you give yourself a week off to rest and recover before you come back to work, because you don't want to get other people sick. They don't want to infect their workforce. They would rather have you, one person, going home, recovering, and coming back fully productive. It's more efficient that way. What they do at work in order to like make all this vacation time and maternity leave and all of the sick time that they offer you, you have unlimited sick days in Germany. You have tons of holidays, paid holidays and unpaid holidays and public holidays. You have tons of maternity leave. How they do that at work in companies and stuff, they have a whole strategy for that. And oftentimes there is a group of people, they're called springers. It's a whole department full of people, and they fill in for you. They all have different ways of doing it at different companies, right? But like it's pretty common to see like this kind of group of springers that fill in for people who are gone, people who are, when you go on vacation, somebody comes into your desk, sits at your desk, and does the basic things that they know how to do your job basically while you're gone, so that things function, still. When you're gone for quite some time, it's somebody who knows your job basically, and they come and temporarily like work your job. So they work at the company, and they are just rotated around for people's positions. Like, anyways, I can talk about that some other time. So, healthcare, mental health care, resting healthcare. Diagnoses. They diagnosed exercise a lot. They diagnosed resting a lot. They diagnosed eating properly. They diagnosed fresh air. They diagnosed yoga was also paid for with your insurance, certain yoga classes. It was just such a beautiful system and such a beautiful way of life and healthy way of life, very focused on health, very, very focused on outdoors, fresh air, like I said, being in nature, giving yourself that like time in nature, also giving yourself that time for leisure. It's like lots of balance, life and work and home and stuff, your balance. Anyways, my throat hurts because I'm talking so much right now. The last thing I wanted to talk about was dentist. My dentist in Munich was awesome. And this is a bill from 2018. So my insurance from work, I don't think it covered very much of my dental care as far as cleanings go. If I needed anything else, my insurance from work would cover certain things, but cleanings were something I had to pay for out of pocket. I don't know why, but I had to go twice a year. Well, I wanted to go twice a year. That's what my dentist told me, to have a cleaning twice a year. So this is a bill for Professionelle Zahnreinigung, which is a professional teeth cleaning. This is 151 euros and 4 cents from 2018. So that is $151, and that is my dental bill, which is it's pretty good. It's okay. But then I moved to Spain, and in mid 2018 I moved to Spain. My insurance here is different. Of course, I'm in a different country. Let's see. They have a public system here, and we have private insurance. So we're on the public system, and we have private insurance, so we can kind of use both systems here. And I have used both systems here. So as I was talking about dentist, I'll start with the dentist in Spain. We found an awesome dentist, and I go again. I just continue to go for cleaning twice a year. This is my bill. It says limpieza cleaning, and it is 60 euros. That's it. This is from last year. 60 euros to get my teeth clean. The only other time that my dentist experience was that great was in Vietnam. I got my teeth cleaned in Vietnam on the first day that I got there. That's another story that I'll share some other time. Anyways, I went to the dentist here in Spain, 60 euros for a cleaning. Great, absolutely fantastic dentist here. Unbelievable, great. I don't have to wait for appointments. I don't have to wait. Again, here, it's fantastic. You make your appointment, you go straight into the doctor's office. There's no in between. Here we have I've gone to two different general practitioner doctors, one through the public system and one through our private insurance. And one of them is a small building with 3 doctor's offices and a little waiting room. And the other one is kind of a mid-sized building in the middle of town. It's a gorgeous building. It's so beautiful, beautiful architecture. And that one is 3 floors. You walk in, there's a reception, there's the place where you get your blood taken, a couple doctor's offices on each side. Upstairs, there's just little waiting areas, and then you go into the doctor's offices upstairs and upstairs. And I just went to the eye doctor to get my annual eye doctor checkup, and he was really good, and he was showing me the pictures that he took of my eyes and showing me on his screen that my nerves are there, and these are all your nerves going into your nerve bundle there. Wow, and it's healthy, and that's great. Okay, cool. That was great. I never have to wait. You make an appointment and you go. I have to get my blood tested every 6 months because of my thyroid. I saw the general doctor here because of that. Got my blood tested right away. She actually sent me to an endocrinologist who could give me more detail about my type of hypothyroidism, because I had more questions, and I've been going to the endocrinologist and never pay for that. Here we're not paying anything out of pocket through the public system nor through the private insurance that we have. And it's about the same price that we pay out of the employer paycheck. And what else? What have I done here? I have not gone to the emergency room, thank God, but I had to go to urgent care in a clinic, a really small clinic, and I was fine. That was fine. It was really good, actually. They were fantastic, really, really beautiful people. I've gone to my OBGYN, and similar, very, very similar to Germany, similar style, ultrasound immediately, all the doctors here. I haven't seen the ultrasound machine in doctor's offices yet, but I haven't needed it except for just the the OBGYN. So I don't know if that's the similar thing here. I don't have a therapist here. I haven't gone to physical therapy here. I talked about the dentist. I went to the eye doctor. I go to the OB. I have had a surgery already here in Spain, but it was a really minor surgery at the hospital. And the only other thing that I needed to talk about was fertility testing. Our OB/GYN did some fertility testing with us, and the results came back kind of weird. So she told us to go through the public system and go to a fertility specialist, like a clinic, and that this fertility specialists were in the hospital in town. So that was the only thing that we waited for, because I don't know why, but we waited like a month to go to that to see that doctor. We had to wait, but it was also during our strict lockdown here, so I don't know why we had to wait. It was due to coronavirus and also due to just probably waiting time for that. So for the fertility specialist, they gave us testing, both of us testing, and then we went back to get our test results, and we learned that IVF is free in Europe. As long as you're under 40 years old, it's free. And fertility treatments are free in Europe as long as you're under 40 years old. Wow. So that was amazing to find that out. But we declined that at the moment, and that is what it is. We're in the middle of a global health pandemic, and I just wanted to share my experiences of healthcare in Europe as an American living in Europe. If you have any other questions, let me know. I can talk specifically about certain things if anyone is interested. So take care. Take care of yourself. Take care of what you eat, how you live. Take care of your souls. Take care of your mentality, your body, mind, spirit, and souls. And take care of your family and social life and all that stuff. Health, health, health. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food, and yada, yada, yada. Exercise daily, and smile, and be healthy, and be happy, and take care. And I hope whatever I'm sharing can help you some way, somehow. Ciao, ciao. Hi there again. Just before I go, I just wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to all of the healthcare workers, all of the people who have taken care of me, all of the people who have taught me so much about health. Thank you to all of the people in the US, all the people in Germany, all the people here in Spain. I've learned so much, and I really, really have to say thank you around the world to all the people who give care to people, especially during these times. And I wanted to say that everything I shared was just, of course, it was my life basically pre 2020, but coming at you from this time in the world that we are living in now, probably pretty different when you go to doctors. And I'm just so grateful for my health, and so grateful for the things that I learned about health before all of this. And I really hope that you all take good care of yourselves and stay strong. There are a lot of things to learn about your immune system, a lot of things that I could talk about as far as the supplements that I took, as far as the sports that I did, as far as all kinds of more details about doctors and everything that I learned from all of it. But I'll save that in case anybody ever
wants to know, in case anybody ever asks. Yeah, I just really salute you all, healthcare workers, and those of you who have helped me with my health journey. Thank you very, very much. Take care, everybody, and have a good weekend.